Hi everybody, welcome back. Brad from BradNewton.tv. Let's talk about heavy compound weightlifting, which is going to be the foundation of this whole course. Like this course is going to be showing you like the exercises to do that should be really the primary focus of your training, at least as a beginner just starting out. And remember, a beginner, somebody that even if you've been doing this for years and haven't achieved the results, and then finally switching over to correct training and nutrition, you're classified as a beginner. So the core of your workouts, the core of your training when you go into the gym is not going to be isolation movements. That's not going to be the core of your training program. No, it's going to be compound weightlifting, which includes deadlifting, overhead press, bench press, and squats. That's going to be the core of your training program. Those ones, they're the big ones. And when I talk about compounds, I'm talking about these movements, the squat, the deadlift, they're actually whole body exercises. Like when you do the squat, like barbell, like back squats or front squats, you're actually working your entire body. You're actually training your entire body. And that is how you build strength as an absolute beginner, is you do that by building an overall foundation of strength across your entire physique. You train your entire body together as an absolute beginner. We need to build that foundation. We need to build that foundation. And so that's why there are programs out there which are fantastic for absolute beginners. And I suggest you go and check them out. Write this down or just take a snapshot of your screen. So there's Starting Strength by Mark Ripito. You can actually get that off my website. It's a blue book. You can buy it off my website. It is incredible. Like it talks about the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press. It talks about these exercises as being the core of every great beginner training program. And then the next one is Strong Lifts 5x5, which again is based off these exercises, plus the bent over row. So these are two fantastic beginner strength training programs that I believe everybody should start on, because if you want to build muscle, you have to build strength. And if we're going to do some case studies as well, actually, like we're going to look at like, the Reg Parks and like the Sergio and, the Franco Colombo and the Arnold Schwarzenegger and, the Ronnie Colemans, like these guys, these really big guys, yeah, okay, steroids played a role in this process as well. But these guys that I just mentioned, and like these guys emphasized the squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, the bench press. The core of Arnold's programs that he trained was the things I just mentioned, the compound exercises that I just mentioned. So why not, rather than reinvent the wheel of like getting frustrated and confused and doing all this stuff in the gym that it's not really gonna, like doing like cable flies as the primary aspect of your training? Are you kidding me? I've made this mistake. Don't worry, I've made this mistake. So this course is going to be about, helping you build a foundation of strength by incorporating these big four movements into your training program. And we'll get to the training programs later on. It's about thinking about diet. And I've actually put that as number one on the list because it is important. No amount of squatting and deadlifting and bench pressing and overhead pressing is going to build a great overall foundation of strength and muscle if you don't have your diet in the right place. And I talk about this in a previous video. I talk about calorie surplus, calorie surplus, calorie surplus, meal planning mastery. I talk about this, being in a calorie surplus, getting enough protein, getting enough protein, getting enough protein. And I know some people are going to be upset with me. So, Brad, you're repeating yourself again. I'm doing it because it's important. It's really essential. So, diet, get that sorted out, right? That's going to be your mission. And I don't talk about the dieting aspect in this course. This is a course based on building strength. So that's the other piece. You go and check that out. So that's pretty much this course. And then progressive overload is what we're really going to be focusing on here, because there are three pathways to building muscle. In this video, we'll talk about progressive overload real quick. We'll talk about how you build muscle with these three pathways in another video coming up very shortly. But We're going to be emphasizing the first pathway, which is progressive overload, which has been found in science to be, out of all the three pathways of building muscle, progressive overload is hands down number one, the primary driver, the most effective way of building muscle. What does that mean? What does progressive overload mean? It means that you are progressively, over time, you are adding weight to the bar over time, and by doing that, you're progressively overloading the muscles that you're training. For example, if you're doing the bench press, for example, you're doing the bench press and you're a guy watching this and you're doing, I don't know, 80 kilograms on the bench press for a certain number of reps. For example, you might be doing 6 repetitions in your first set, doing 80 kilograms on the bench press. So great, you can do that. Set number 1, you can do 6. Set number 2, you can do 6. Set number 3, to progressively overload the muscle, you now need to add weight to the bar of about 2.5 kilograms or 5 pounds. So 2.5 either side, or you can do 1.25 either side. It's going to vary, but the point is you're going to add a little bit of weight to the bar. Your reps are going to drop down a little bit. So you're going to try and push out as many reps as you can with that little bit of extra weight added. By doing that, you're adding more weight, therefore more load to the bar, and therefore you're going to progressively overload the muscle. You're creating more tension on the muscle over time. By the way, the goal is to, every week, you're going to add a little bit of weight to the bar with each of these exercises. The bench press, the overhead press, you're going to add a little bit of weight to the bar. You're going to set the same number of sets. You're going to, when you add that little bit of weight, your number of reps are going to drop a little bit. But maybe 1 or 2 reps is going to drop a little bit. But what you're going to do is you're going to push and push and push, and you're going to try and get those 2 reps up. You're trying to get those extra 2 reps. So for example, if you're 80 kilograms on the bench press and you add a little bit of extra weight, you're going to try and hit 6 or 7 reps or so, because you're only doing 5 now. And then when you get to 6 and 7, you've now grown, like you've gotten stronger, because you weren't able to do those extra 2 reps before at that higher weight. I'll talk about this in other videos, don't worry. But the point is that progressive overload is the key. We need to, every single week, we need to focus on adding a little bit of weight for the same number of sets that we're doing for a particular exercise. By the way, we're not changing up our exercises here. We're going to stick to, as the core of the program, we're going to stick to the squat, the deadlift, the bench. These exercises are going to work your entire physique, your entire body, as a whole body mechanism, right? So when you do the squat, you're also working other aspects of your body that are not your legs. When you're doing the bench press, you're working other aspects of your body that is not your chest or your triceps. So that's the premise of this course. Compound means multiple muscle groups are being trained simultaneously. This is how you do it as an absolute beginner. And then when you get more advanced with your training, you can become a little bit sophisticated, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, if you just want to build a great physique, you don't need to go fancy. You stick to the basics. That's why starting strength and Strongless 5x5 have been around for a long time, because they work and thousands of people have achieved great results off these 2 programs. So stick around. I hope this is helpful. Remember, progressive overload is the key. Number 1 for building muscle. Number 1, proven in science. Anyway, I'm going to close off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.